Hi, I am Manuela Bonanno from Columbia University. I'm very happy to be here with Emil Schueler. And please, Emil, introduce yourself. Where are you from and what's your institution? And tell us everything about you.
Sure. My name is Emil Schueler. I'm from Sweden originally. Right now I'm doing my postdoc at Stanford University. So I got there a little more than a year ago now. So I'm really enjoying myself there.
That's great. And what's your background? Are you a physicist or a biologist?
Yeah, I'm a medical physicist, licensed in Sweden, where I did my studies there, and then I did my master's thesis in the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Oh, so nice.
Which was
pretty nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
So I'm back home.
So please tell me everything about your work. Which direction are you focusing now? What's your line?
Yeah, well, my current work is very different from my PhD studies. My PhD studies was very much in peptide receptor radionuclide therapy, where I looked at the transcriptional regulations in kidney tissue, due to the fact that kidneys are the dose-limiting organs in peptide receptor radionuclide therapy. Now, I got a position then at Stanford, and now I'm looking into the flash radiation.
Flash?
Yes, flash radiation is ultra-high dose rate radiation. We have a semi-good definition around 50 gray per second and above is what we define.
Super high dose rate.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's the effect that we are studying.
So we are still in the area of radiotherapy, but why flash?
Exactly.
What's the difference, compared to conventional radiotherapy treatments?
Well, actually, there seems to be quite a large difference. So the project that I'm started at is in the phaser group at Stanford. There we're trying to develop the next generation treatment machine, external beam radiation treatment. And the overall goal for that machine is to eliminate motion artifacts. Okay. So that's why originally my PIs then wanted high dose rate radiation. And then they came out.
That could be so fast that you could avoid the patients,
exactly.
Like the breathing
everything.
Okay.
Actually, you see also quite large differences in the prostate moving just within a few minutes. It can actually move quite a lot.
So difference you mean in terms of outcomes or of dosimetry?
It's actually how it moves. It actually moves in the body. Yeah. So that was the original thought behind doing high dose rate radiation. And then there came out a very interesting paper from the Vodcast group in France about there being a biological incentive as well, why we should have this high dose rate radiations. And actually they showed a very nice reduction in lung fibrosis. With
so long-term effects.
Exactly. So when they delivered then those rates, I think they were between 40 and 60 gray per second. Then they saw basically no fibrosis when they delivered 17 gray, while in the conventional group, that they had so much fibrosis. So we're a very strong difference there. And then of course, then we got interested in the biology as well.
So please teach me, when you get fibrosis, that means that eventually you have damaged normal cells, and then that induce fibrosis or damage later on. So this kind of flash irradiation would spare as much as possible.
It seems to have a very nice sparing of normal tissue, and we don't know why. Unfortunately, if we just knew that, that would be perfect.
But you won't be here, because
no, exactly.
then we would know everything, right?
I wouldn't be here. No, that's true. No, so there seems to be a very nice effect on normal tissues, on lungs, which the French group showed. It's also been shown in tumor tissue that there's no difference, which is also very important. Like if we would be sparing the normal tissues, then and sparing the tumor tissues as well, it wouldn't be an effect that you would be interested in anyway. But there seems to be like no differential effect in tumor tissue, which is all very important. And then we have moved a step further. We have also we primarily right now doing GI tract radiations, basically because it's easier. You know, there's a quick readout.
I see.
Yeah.
Tell me more about it. Why?
Yeah, sure. So
you don't have to wait too long?
Exactly. Within 14 days, we have our response.
Yeah. Versus for fibrosis, I think it's a few months.
Yes, exactly.
In a mouse model, right?
Exactly. So that's why we have concentrated more on the GI tract. Okay. And also we also, of course, look at different organs, but our focus is right now, at least, in the GI tract. That's because we started all of this with acute GI tract toxicity, so basically overall survival. And then you would have your readout within 2 weeks. You ready the mice, they lose a lot of weight, of course, in the beginning, but by day 7, they start to recover, or unfortunately some die, but otherwise they start to recover there, and they're usually back at their original weight around day 12, 13.
And then at that point, which kind of assessment you take? Which assay? Do you look just for survival or other?
So right now we've just started to establish it.
I see.
Yeah, so we are all very, I wouldn't say primitive studies, but you know,
like
very
a preliminary.
Yeah, that's a better word.
So
for
you
it.
set up all the experimental tools. What do you need actually to get such a high dose rates?
Well, you need a machine first, a machine that can deliver it.
Yeah.
That was actually our first issue. When I came to Stanford, we didn't even have a machine for it. We were very interested in doing these kinds of radiations, but we had no way of doing it. The French group, which I mentioned before, they have a dedicated machine for this. And of course, if you have a lot of money, you can always buy something.
Right.
But we didn't have that kind of budget for this. So the first thing that happened when I came to the Stanford group was that, okay, what do we have in our machine park which we can actually use? And so I'm at radiation oncology department, and of course we have clinical linear accelerators. So that became my first work, was to try to have a machine that can give us our flash doses, and doing it in a way that won't affect basically the other people are using it, and in this instance, as this is a clinical linear accelerator, it's patients. Yeah, so that we're not allowed to be affected at all. But fortunately, we have a very nice department who is very pro research, and so they were very nice, and we were actually able to then use a clinical linear accelerator in order to get our flash doses, which had never been tried before, because they're really not designed to do this. So
in a way you push a little bit the boundaries also of the machine.
I've been told that multiple times. Yes.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but we were very nice. So we're at Stanford, which is right in Palo Alto. Varian headquarters is right next door, which they have been amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, so we've had very close contact with their engineering team, who helped us a lot in order to try to figure out how to do this. And in the end, like after a bunch of iterations, it's actually quite an easy process to do. Of course, it takes time to find the easy solution to everything. Because we were able to use a clinical linear accelerator. We tuned it, so we increased the gun current, and and then tweaked the RF power and other stuff like that in order to get a stable beam through. And then we moved our platform, our irradiation platform, as close as possible to the virtual source of the machine. So basically what we do, and the methodology that we have been working on, is then we have the gantry at 180 degrees. So we irradiate it from below, exactly. And then we have a platform that we position by the positioning mirror of the linac. So we're basically 15 centimeters, something like that, from the virtual source. So we take off all the safety covers, everything like that, and then we're way down there in the head. You have to like really dive down there in order to position your mouse and everything. But it was quite successful, actually. We were able to tune the machine to get 250 gray per second.
250?
Yes, and actually we did some tweaking now this week as well, and now we're almost up to 1,000 gray per second from a clinical linear accelerator.
I see. But in practical terms, I mean in terms of clinical applications, which dose rate you would choose, or what seems to be the optimal?
We
so
don't know
far?
yet. That's a very good question, but we don't know yet.
I see.
Yeah, we've only...
Because 1,000 gray per second
Yes.
feels kind of,
Yeah,
it's
this is,
not gonna be too
I don't
much.
know if it's just like now, it's just ego. You just want to go higher because you can. I think we've reached a limit now from our machine at least. But no, we don't know the level which is the most optimal. That's actually something we're planning to do in the next month. We're planning to set up boundaries or see where do we find the threshold. Where is the threshold? How low can we go in dose rate and still see a differential effect? How high can we go before we see a plateau? Because we still haven't found the plateau either. We have only very preliminary data so far.
Yeah, by the way, which dose rates have you tested so far?
We have our most robust data. We have played around a lot, of course. Our most robust data, where we have done the most mice, we have the best statistics. That's at 70 and 210 gray per second.
Okay.
That's where we have.
So that's that order of magnitude.
Yeah.
Probably
so we
always
go back to that level because we know that there is the effect, and also we do see quite a nice differential effect between flash and conventional radiation in the GI tract toxicity. Well, an example is we moved the LD50. The LD50, we've used this data now in C57 black mice, male mice, and there we see an LD50 in of about 14.7 something. And we moved that level up to 17.8 gray.
I see.
Which is quite a...
That's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And also, the effect, no one believes in it, the effect, that why would only dose rate do this differential effect? And I have to say, we are also very skeptical. Like, when we meet people and we talk about this, people are skeptical, but we are as well. So that's why this data has been reproduced twice, just to make sure that we know what we're doing, we know that this effect is true. And this is 3 times now we have been able to reproduce this data, which is very exciting, because right now we're at the first level where we can actually say that, okay, we have the effect, which is very, very exciting. And then, of course, but where is the threshold? Where is the lower boundaries and the upper boundaries? We don't know that yet, but we are right now in the process of doing that. So we will go, try to go down in dose rate, see where does it stop.
Yeah, well, that brings me to really to curiosities more than questions about the mice.
Yeah.
So first of all, you said that you have tried on male. Are you thinking of testing female as well?
Of course. We need to establish the effect in females as well. It's just that we haven't had the time yet. Yes. Our major focus so far has actually been getting the machine there, getting the machine to a level where we can do these kinds of experiments. And also, we've of course also tried it in vitro. And done preliminary studies in different organs and stuff like that. But now we're taking a step back and try to build up a foundation.
That's great.
Yeah, build up the basis of the effect.
So this brings me to the other questions related to the mice. How do you get around with the air cook? Because if you want, with the air cook, with the regulation for the use of mice, because you want to do studies that span, for you might need to use a lot of mice, and you don't know what the threshold will be.
Yeah.
So you have to justify
to
the animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always a problem. We have to justify everything, and of course that's a very important thing to do as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But showing these effects, just showing the potential of these effects, has actually so far been enough to show this.
So, Emil, what's then your next step? I mean, what are? I understand that you would be certainly involved in repeating and replicating these studies, but then what? What else?
Well, in the short term, of course, it's if you just look within the project per se, then it is to build up the foundation, really try to establish that the effect is there, the effect is in multiple organs, show this in a nice way. Concerning myself more personally. I'm right now in the process of writing a K99. That's the next step. Yeah, I've been now at Stanford as a postdoc for 1.5 years. So it's time, I think, to take the next step. And, I mentored career development grant would be very nice.
It would be awesome, and I really, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else that you want to add? Mentors or supervisors or disclaimer that you have to?
No. Well, of course, I want to thank my supervisors, Billy Liu and Peter Maxim at Stanford. They have been very nice, and they're really trying to make it as a very good research environment for all of us, which is very nice. But no disclaimers otherwise.
Awesome then. Yes. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk about your work, and again, good luck for everything.
Thank you so much. Thanks.